Hey everyone, and welcome to the VitaCast episode 17. We're recording on February 19th, 2014. We're a day late because I'm lame and I have a job and it took some time. What? That sounded really weird. Anyways. With me as usual is Kyle Wakeling.
Hello.
Brian Sharon.
Hey everybody.
Yuki's doing the recording. Hi Yuki. Feel free to type something. And we also have Charlie in here listening in to us. He loves our sexy voices, so he's just listening to us talk and whatnot.
And whatnot.
He says, hello, you sexy beast. Yes, I like the sound of that. All right, so let's go on over to what I've been playing. I've been playing a bit of Toukiden. I still need to play some more of that. I got to play some of that in the lounge play, which was a lot of fun. I died, though, against the boss, which was disappointing. I need to play that game more. So does Kyle, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
Also, I'm chugging along through them Danganronpas. I'm not done with the game yet, but things are going crazy, and I'm loving it. So I need to play more of that. I played some Killzone. I actually played Killzone probably about an hour ago, and of course, I didn't get any of the new maps, so I got mad. But
wah, wah.
I was destroying everyone, so I was enjoying it. What else did I play? There's something I played. There's always something I played, and I never remember what it is. Well, I played something, so go check that out. Yeah, I think that's about it. What about you, Kyle?
Well, like you, I also played Killzone Mercenary and Toukiden, both in the lounge play and on my own. I tried to get into some of those maps earlier, but couldn't get into any either. And I've been playing Toukiden like crazy, trying to get those Ani killed, I guess, and get farther. I'm like somewhere in chapter 3, I think. So I'm playing that. Also going for the Danganronpa Platinum. I'm like 73% of the way there. So getting towards there. Now it's just the grind for the last couple of trophies, I guess.
Yeah, good luck.
And a little bit of PlayStation All-Stars. So
nice.
That's what I've been playing. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, it's been an interesting week for me, so I'm going to start off by saying you guys had some bad luck this week, because I jumped into my first match on Killzone Mercenary after the update, and I got both of those maps back-to-back, so I must be eating horseshoes for breakfast, but that's how it turned out for me. So I've been playing a little bit of Killzone today. Other than that, I've been playing some Spelunky as per usual, a little bit of Ali, but a large portion of my week this week was dedicated to a little box called the PS Vita TV, and as such, because if you don't know this, you can't access the American or European stores there. I've been playing a lot of Japanese demos and Japanese free-to-play games. So I've been playing a ton of Conception 2, Puyo Puyo Tetris. I've been playing Yakuza Ishin. It's a bunch of other stuff, a bunch of Japanese demos. So I've been having a blast with that. You'll see a review of that later on in the week. We're just holding off for the PS4 release in Japan. But that's what I've been playing.
Nice. Well, aren't you lucky?
I guess I have to learn Japanese though. I'm in the process of learning Japanese, but the first lesson didn't go so well.
I'm in
it was
the process
terrible
too, but quotation marks under in the process.
See, the big stumbling block for me, and it's such a simple thing, is just the 3-syllable word that takes up the word I in English. So it's a pain, right? Wakashi or wakashiwa, depending on the context of the sentence. It's much different than if you're speaking Spanish, you have yo. If you're having Portuguese, you. English, I. Anyway, becoming the language podcast, so let's move on.
Well, you're already farther than me, so
that's all right.
All right, well, we'll just throw it right back at you because you got our new releases for this week.
Yeah, I know it's Wednesday, but we typically here at the VitaCast only cover the North American releases, and that's what we're going to continue to do. This week we have Gunslugs, which got released this week, and then we had Fort Defense, North Menace, Sorcery Saga, Curse of the Great Curry God. I think the past two, those are both in EU, except for the Curry God was also in every region in EU except for Germany. And then this week we also have 2 games from the PS1 era coming through. We have Mr. Driller and Tomba 2, which is from Monkey Paw. And that's all we have for the releases. And then on top of that, we have our PlayStation Plus game of the week, and that is Street Fighter X Tekken, which is free for PlayStation Plus subscribers in North America, and that's part of the Instant Game Collection. So go pick it up right now.
Nice. I'm not into fighters, but I've heard that one's a pretty good one.
Is that because you're a lover, Tyler?
I get it. You with the jokes. Well, let's head on over to the news.
Do you love to tell the news, Tyler?
Do I love what?
To tell the news.
I do love to tell the news, and I think I'm going to share that love with you guys, as you'll find out soon.
So lucky. Okay, anyway.
Alright, so first up, No Heroes Allowed, No Puzzles Either is coming this spring. Anti-Hero Badman will make his handheld return with those games coming in spring, and the 5th and latest entry in the No Heroes Allowed series will arrive in the form of a free-to-play Match 3 puzzle game. According to the post on the official PlayStation blog by Tomoyo Kimura of International Software Development at SCEA, combining the franchise's staple humor and 8-bit art, players will use evil and destructive powers to defeat over 200-odd heroes across 64 levels. Moreover, as heroes bend to your whim, they will become slaves to your dungeon, where they will provide labor for you and unearth power-ups in the game's mines. Weird. So wait, it's a puzzle game, but it seems like...
It's like Puzzle Quest, if you think of it like that.
I've never played Puzzle Quest, so...
So basically what you're looking at is a Bejeweled-style Match 3 style kind of game. And as you do so, I'm not necessarily familiar with the No Heroes, but I'm just relating this to something like Dungeon Quest. And what you'll be doing from there is using various... I guess in this case, there'll be villains, various villains or minions, and you unlock them by making the match 3. So let's say you have, for example, a warrior that's all red. You have to get a bunch of red blocks. Once you get all 3 of them, you can use that warrior to attack.
You need to breathe, Brian.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit under the weather. I'm having some tea. I'm having some honey. I'm a little bit of the sicky.
Oh, so that's not good. Well,
I can only breathe through one orifice. I'm trying. With the other ones, it's not going so well.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of the day to talk with us, weirdos.
It's cool.
All right, well, look out for that one in this spring. Let's head to the next bit. Where is it? There it is. X-Blaze Code Embryo is coming to the West. Woo! I don't even know what this game's about. Let's find out. Unlike the main games of Blaze Blue series, so it's like Blaze Blue, so it's a fighting game. Okay. No?
Keep reading.
Okay, I'll keep reading. Unlike the main games of the Blaze Blue series, it isn't a beat-em-up, but a visual novel. Oh, that probably would have helped if I kept reading. Is that why you told me to do that, Brian?
Maybe.
Okay, thank you. Well, it plays in the same world. It's set 150 years prior to the events in the main series. Being in a different time period comes with the fact that it features an all-new cast of characters, including the main character, Toya Kaguri. Toya is a second-year student of Class B and currently resides with the Himazura family. I pronounced that totally right. He works at a curry shop as a part-time job, though this comes to an abrupt end as he gets targeted by a secret organization for an undisclosed reason. Interesting. Are you guys interested in this one? Kyle, this seems like something you might like. Nope.
Yeah, not really.
You don't like these types of games?
I don't know. Just the whole idea doesn't really appeal to me.
It's not grabbing you?
No, not at all.
I feel you. Well, if you're a fan of this style of game, then that's good news because it's coming west. Yeah. I'm not really a fan of that style of game, though. I think it would help if it was set in a... what is the word? I can't think of the word. If it was set in a different... Wow, I can't think of it. Instead of Blaze Blue, like if it was some other type of game that I actually...
Blaze Red?
A different universe?
Yeah, that's the word. That's... Yeah. I think I'd
So
be
what
more
specific
interested.
universe were you thinking of, Tyler?
I'm thinking...
The Marvel universe?
Yeah, totally.
Actually, that wouldn't make for a bad visual novel, the Marvel Universe.
It'd make for a bad one?
No, it wouldn't make for a bad one.
It sounded like you
That's
cut
double
out
negatives right there.
Yeah, oh, look at that. Yeah.
Bad grammar.
All right. Next bit of news. Stranger of Sword City announced for PlayStation Vita. Demon Gaze developer Experience has announced that their new dungeon crawling RPG for Xbox 360 and PC called Stranger of City of Sword. Wow, there's so many S's. This is difficult. Called Stranger of Sword City will hit by receiving a PlayStation Vita version in the future. According to this week's Famitsu, the PS Vita version of the game will carry the title of Stranger of Sword City Black Palace, whereas the others will fall under the banner of Stranger of Sword City White Palace. The Vita version will launch in Japan sometime during 2014 for 5,537 yen. It is unknown at this point whether the alteration to the title will have any key changes or separation at this time. However, more information has been promised for February 14th, which has already happened when I read this. So there should be more information. Maybe later on in the news you'll hear this information. There's a trailer, if you want to check it out. Have you guys checked it out at all? You guys are just so talkative. I love this.
There isn't much to go on in the trailer. It's very conceptual, and you can't really grasp much from that. So we're gonna have to look more into it to find out more about the actual game itself.
I gotcha. All right. Well, this is where Kyle takes over the news. What do you got, Kyle? This is crazy.
Is this something new we're doing now, Tyler?
Over the news now.
It's weird.
Very impromptu.
I get to sit back, relax, and then Kyle gets to mess it up and see how it feels. Good luck, Kyle.
I won't take it as personally as you do, Tyler. All right, so first piece of news is Risk of Rain is revealed for PlayStation Vita. So popular action platformer Risk of Rain from Starbound developers Chucklefish Games has been announced for release on the PlayStation Vita. The reveal came rather unceremoniously via Twitter, where Starbound writer Ashton Reyes spoke openly about the previously incognito Vita version, confirming its very existence. Later, Sony Computer Entertainment Europe's Shahid Kamal and resident Khalifa of the Vita would affirm the release in a follow-up post. Having launched in late 2013 for PC, Risk of Rain puts players in the boots of a lone survivor of a spaceship freighter. Being stranded on an unknown planet, it's up to you to adventure through the randomly selected levels that are adorned with objects that are procedurally generated. Every moment is a struggle to survive as you must fend off monsters and search for various items. So there's a trailer here as well. So what do you guys think about that?
This is a Tyler game, right? It has Tyler written all over it. It's the Terraria system, so let Terraria boy answer the question. Go.
Well, it looks awesome. I love Terraria. So anything that tries to emulate that is gonna be on my radar. So yeah, it's looking cool, but Terraria is a great game, so they got a lot to live up to. So we'll see. I'm being weary, but I'm not gonna jump the hype train yet.
It does seem a lot more action oriented than Terraria, which is something that appeals to me actually.
Yeah, hey, Terraria has some action. There's boss battles. Okay.
There goes the tumbling.
Oh, jeez, you guys are so mean. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's a big risk for them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we know what you mean, Tyler.
All right, moving along, Kyle.
All right, moving along. Okay, Curve Studios announces new puzzle game Mousecraft with teaser trailer. So Curve Studios has announced a Mousecraft, a brand new indie puzzle game for PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 4, and PC. Blending some classic and familiar techniques from puzzle games of yore, such as Tetris and Lemmings, Mousecraft puts you in control of Tetramino-like blocks in order to aid indirectly controlled mice throughout the campaign's over 50 levels. As you may expect, the deeper you dive into the game, the harder it will become. You will be introduced to different blocks that will help you to avoid, or help your mice avoid obstacles, defeat enemies, and create new paths. Additionally, the game will come bearing leaderboards, a ranking system, collectibles, and a fully featured level editor available during launch, according to a post on the official PlayStation blog by Curve Studios PR and marketing manager Rob Clark. Mousecraft will be the first Curve Studios title that launches on PlayStation platforms and PC simultaneously, with the PlayStation Vita version releasing in May and a PlayStation 4 version becoming available in the summer. There's also a teaser trailer here, so what do you guys think?
Well, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of indirectly controlling things. Like, I actually like to be in control of the characters or the people or whatever. But I don't know. It's probably not something I'd like because I'm not a big touchscreen fan. So.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. It's definitely not something I'm looking forward to very much.
But I mean, it has. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, sorry. Even me as I'm a big Tetris fan. If anybody knows me, I love Tetris, but this doesn't necessarily appeal to me either.
Yeah, I mean, to give it props though, it does have some nice little graphics. I'm looking on the screenshots, which you can find on the site, and I mean, it looks pretty good, like graphically. So, if this is something that interests you, check it out. Yeah. What do we got next, Kyle?
All right, moving on. Tecmo Koei files trademark for Toukiden Kyoko. Toukiden: The Age of Demons may have just released in the West, but it looks as though we may see a sequel or perhaps a revision sometime in the near future. According to a Japanese gaming blog, Remoon, publisher Tecmo Koei has filed a trademark for the title Toukiden Kyoko. While the meaning behind the effort is uncertain at this time, it should be noted that this isn't necessarily uncommon for Japanese publishers to repackage popular titles with some notable additions. Recently, Marvelous AQL revealed a similar plan for Valhalla Knights 3, planning to release it as part of a gold edition later this month. We will have more at TVL as this develops. So, what do you guys think?
Well, I think I just got the game, so it's a bit early for another one, but I do like the one I'm playing now, so I'm welcome to a new one, but I'm not a fan of, like how you just said, Marvelous AQL doing the Valhalla Knights 3 and then making it gold. It's like, here, play the same game, but we added 2 things, pay the same amount. So I'm hoping that's not what it is. I'm hoping it's an actual, like, this is a different game. Here's new features, here's new enemies, here's new weapon classes. This is a new game. So, that's my thoughts.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I know I'm no expert in Japanese. I know a bit. And I know adding Kyoku to the end of songs means like a revision of somebody else's work. So maybe it's somebody else kind of taking a crack at how they should have done Toukiden or something. I'm not sure. But
interesting.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily interested, being that I just got the first one and I'm having a lot of fun with that. I wouldn't want to like play a whole nother game for a couple other levels. Yeah. Unless it's like a super huge upgrade, it would have to be like phenomenal, like the difference between Soul Sacrifice and Soul Sacrifice Delta for me to consider it.
I gotcha. I don't think Brian cares. He probably fell asleep.
No, I care. I enjoy Toukiden. I played the demo. I enjoyed myself. I think if that's what they're going to do, I think it's very early. I understand that this is a trademark filing and it wasn't something they announced, so maybe this factors into their long-term plans. Who knows, right? But as you said, I'm not a big fan of when, especially Japanese publishers, tend to do this type of thing and repackage an already released game. I like to think of it as the Capcom syndrome with the Super Street Fighter and Ultra Street Fighter, and yeah, it's just not for me.
I gotcha. Well, I guess we'll find out more as more develops, won't we, Kyle?
Yeah, we will.
And now it goes to Brian with the news. This is crazy. Cray.
All right, so we're going to start off with a little bit of chibi news. Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds hits another delay. Wah wah. 5PB has delayed Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds for PlayStation Vita in Japan. The title was planned for a February 27th release, but this latest setback will see it released on March 13th of this year, according to a report by Gematsu. This is the second time that actually, that Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds has faced a minor delay. Recently, it was pushed back from its original launch date of February 13th. And that's the news.
Interesting. I don't even know anything about this game, but I like the girl's sword in the picture. It's kind of cool looking.
I like the hole in the middle of it. I think that does it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I just like the shape of it. It's a very nice sword.
How do you feel about the stick?
The stick is...
I think it's a little thin, don't you?
I do think it's a little thin.
It looks like she's about to play pool at a bar.
Yeah. What she thinks she's going to do. Anyways.
So we went off on a tangent there.
Sorry about that.
Kyle, how do you feel about that?
I really couldn't care. I really don't care.
You don't
this
play
is
pool?
one I'm not looking forward to. Don't give two flying craps about.
I got
All
it.
right, then. Let's move on to something that I know somebody on this podcast cares about. MLB 14, the show launches on April 1st of this year, and that's not a joke. SCA San Diego Studios has announced that MLB 14, the show, will swing onto PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 3 on April 1st, with a PlayStation 4 version to follow sometime this May. This latest entry for the PlayStation exclusive sports franchise features over 50 various features and improvements that will enhance, deepen, and streamline and better improve your overall experience, according to community manager Ramon Russell. Among the inclusions will be a quick count, which will speed up the games significantly by cutting completion times to 50%. And as well, they'll be introducing a new user interface, as well as more other additions. So how do you guys feel about that?
Well, I like MLB 13, the show, so I'm excited for MLB 14. But there's some stuff they need to fix, because the Vita version definitely is for a lack of a better word, it's a dumbed-down version. And it's noticeable. Like, after a while, you just start to notice little things that bug you. Like, one of the things that really bugged me in MLB 13 was when your guy would walk up to... he'd be at bat, the dugout where all your teammates were sitting, right before the pitcher would get ready to throw the ball or whatever, like, they'd all disappear. And it'd be an empty dugout. And you'd be like, oh, they just vanished. And then they'd be back. And then another thing, I mean, these are not major things. Like, the gameplay is perfect. It's solid. So, I mean, it's just little touches that could improve it a lot. But also, like, if you hit a home run and your guy comes around the base and there's, like, another teammate there that's like, oh, hey, good job. And he, like, high-fives the guy. Like, their hands will, like, go through each other. I'm just like, oh, come on. Like, little things. Every time I see that, I'm just like, oh, man, that must have been a really hard high-five or something. But... yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully this isn't a joke and they're just trolling us. And it's coming out later or something.
Well, actually, there's a couple of games coming out on April 1st. We didn't get it up on time for this podcast, but you should see it by the time you listen to it. Xseed has announced today that you will be seeing Ragnarok Odyssey Ace on April 1st as well. So that will be a busy day. So if you hear about a couple of announcements that day, don't think that they're jokes. Those are serious releases. So.
Yeah, they don't usually come up with the jokes until the morning of April 1st. They don't, like, plan ahead like this far. That's a little bit cruel. And
they're going long-term this year.
You never know. They could be trying to...
all the games have been a joke. No.
But going back to MLB 14, the show, do you think seeing the lack of presentation on the Vita version is a little bit more noticeable because the franchise is specifically known for its great presentation?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I
think that's half the reason why people play the game. I know it's a solid, fantastic baseball game, and it rivals anything out there, but I think it's also one of the top performing presentation games as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not really a big deal to me. It's just one of those, like, nice touches that you notice. And when it's not there, you notice even more because it starts bugging you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to note on the fact that you guys are talking about how, like, MLB The Show is like a presentation game. Have you seen the beards on the new MLB?
Yeah.
They look retarded. Like, it looks like, I don't know, they have, like, porcupine needles sticking to their face or something. It looks completely wrong. I don't know what they did there, but it looks horrible.
Well, if it makes you feel better... I don't think the Vita version will have that. I think that's all about the PS4 version.
Yeah.
Thank God, because for trying to get it to look real, that looks horrible.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
So we're going to move from some jubilant news to something a little bit more somber. Zero Escape 3 has been put on indefinite hold. Kataru Uchikoshi, sorry if I mispronounced your name, sir, has announced that the sequel to Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward, has been put on an indefinite hold due to the team's inability to secure funding. The Chunsoft writer regretfully took to Twitter to deliver a surprisingly candid string of tweets that broke the sad news and detailed both the current and future status of the project. According to Uchikoshi, the team had been given the opportunity to present the project to management. However, it ultimately seems that the lack of sales for the titles sealed the game's fate. I'm just going to quote, he offers a lot of quotes here, so I'm just going to quote him really quickly. Unfortunately, it seems that in Japan, it wasn't those series, the Virtue's Last Reward and 999, didn't sell too well. So, and this is directly coming from Uchikoshi. He says, some of them think that they want to make a sequel just as we wish. But in Japan, 999 and VLR are in the red. They are not selling more than people think. He went on to say that we are not able to present a convincing, reasonable basis to the managers. So as it stands right now, I'm just going to surmise the article because it's pretty hefty. As it stands right now, they are seeking alternative funding because they couldn't go through the designated routes. And while Kickstarter may be something that's obvious, it seems that that's something that the team doesn't necessarily want to pursue right now, but they are looking for outside sources. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. How do you guys feel about this little delay or hindrance?
Well, I'm not into VLR, so it's not a big deal to me. But Kyle, you are interested in it, but you haven't played it yet, have you?
Yeah, I've actually got VLR back from the PlayStation Plus freebie or whatever back last year. Sitting still on my PS3, ready to go onto my Vita. I just haven't got there yet. So if I like VLR, I guess it would suck if they aren't making another one. But at the same time, I think there's enough people that talk about it that if they did have to go to Kickstarter method, they would get funded for another game. So I don't think it's that big of a blow overall. I think no matter what, they're going to get the funding that they need for something new.
Yeah. I hear everyone saying that they love it, so I don't know why it didn't sell too well. Maybe not enough promotion or something.
No clue. But we're going back to you. We're going back to the regular host, Tyler, now.
Hey! Alright, so next in the news, Dive Kick Edition has been announced, and that's not a typo, that's actually what it's called, Edition, which Iron Galaxy Studios has revealed. Announced via the game's Esports Hour Twitch stream, Dive Kick Edition will see a full release on both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, with previous versions of the game, including PlayStation Vita, receiving the upgrade for free. Edition is set to include at least one new character and stage, while also introducing a host of new balancing changes to the existing roster. No official date has been released for Dive Kick Edition. However, it appears that it will be releasing sometime after this year's SoCal regionals, which conclude later this month. For all the changes heading to Dive Kick, check out the official forums, and we have a link on the site if you want to check it out. I really like Dive Kick, but they need to focus on Borderlands 2, so I'm a little disappointed in them. What about
it's
you, Kyle?
probably been in the works for a while. They probably knew, when PlayStation 4 was announced that they were going to be making it. It's probably just been, Sony Q&A or quality assurance that's kept them back for a while. They've probably been working on Borderlands just as much as they need to. I trust them with it, really.
Kyle,
so, yeah.
I don't like your reasoning. I'm just going to be a negative Nancy. And what about you, Brian? Did you ever play Dive Kick?
Yeah, I did. I actually reviewed it for the site.
What did you know?
I actually liked it quite a bit. Yeah, a lot of people like to dog on it for not being the most robust game, which I think is kind of funny because that's the point. I think it's great that they are actually patching the old version and giving everybody the upgrade for free. If you bought it on PlayStation Vita, you don't have to worry about topping up your PSN. You're going to get this for free, and you're going to get a whole new experience, or at least an altered one. So that's a good move. That's something we were mentioning earlier that Capcom necessarily wouldn't do with their fighters. So I'm appreciative of them taking care of their fan base.
Nice.
Doesn't this upgrade, if you have it on PS3 or Vita or whatever, you get it for PlayStation 4 for free as well? It's triple cross-buy, isn't it?
I can't confirm that.
I thought I read somewhere. We'll look into that, and I'll post in the comments whether it is or not. 'Cause I think I read somewhere that it
I
might
think
be.
so too. But they announced it during the stream, and they were a little bit ambiguous with their wording, and it could have been taken a few ways. So I didn't necessarily want to add it in there for sure.
Okay, we'll let you know in the comments somewhere.
All right, next up, Disgaea 4, A Promise Revisited, coming west this summer. NIS America has announced that it will be Disgaea 4, A Promise Revisited will be coming to PlayStation Vita and in North America and Europe this summer. Originally released on PlayStation 3 in 2011, the Vita version launched in Japan earlier this year as an enhanced port of the original. A Promise Revisited has new scenarios that bring more backstory to the game, or to some of the game's characters. This enhanced version includes new characters, new spells, techniques, and all of the DLC that was available for the original on PlayStation 3. And we have a trailer courtesy of IGN on the site if you want to check it out. And yeah, I played Disgaea 3, I think it was, for free because we had it for Plus or whatever, and I wasn't really into it too much, but I know a lot of people love this game. Are you guys into this game at all? Totally.
I have not played it at all. I don't know anything about it really. It's just kind of one that's not been on my radar very much. Yeah, not really sure.
Yeah, I know it's a game that has a huge fan base, and I know that Prenny is a iconic character for that studio, but yeah, no, it's something that has passed me by as well.
I got you. I'm glad I didn't buy it because I was like looking at it back when it first, or the 3 came out or whatever, and I kept sitting there like, I should buy this because everyone says it's amazing and I should just give it a shot, and I never did. And then it came out for free on Plus, and I was like, yeah, I'm so glad I did not spend money because it's not a game that I would be interested in. So yeah, check that out if this is a game you are interested in. Next up, Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair is coming this fall. Kyle's excited. Yep, see? NIS America just announced that the sequel to Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, which Kyle reviewed, so check that out, will be coming to PlayStation Vita this fall. Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair was originally released on PSP as Super Danganronpa 2 Farewell Despair Academy in 2012, but is now making its way to the PlayStation Vita this fall. Unlike the first Vita port, this one will be available both in retail form and digitally, and is being ported by Spike Chunsoft, the developer of the original Danganronpa and a stable in quality visual novels. Unlike Trigger Happy Havoc, Goodbye Despair isn't set in a high school location and instead moves the murder mystery to a place called Jabberwock Island, an uninhabited landmass where the game's plot unfolds. That's all we've got on this title for now, but stay tuned for more news when we get it. Kyle, you want this, and I'm loving Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, so I want this. Brian, what about you?
I just really, though, all I want to do is go to Jabberwock Island.
Really?
I want that to be a real place with all my being. I want to wish that place into existence.
Maybe after you play Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair, you might not want to go there.
Uh-oh. We'll see. We'll see how I like it. We'll figure it out. No, but honestly, I'm excited to see that they're bringing the sequel. That's good news for everybody who enjoyed Danganronpa 1. So.
Yeah. And I don't know if it said it in the news story, I forgot, but is this confirmed for North America? Or is this just saying that it's coming?
No, this is for North America. This is coming to North America. So.
Okay. Is it already out in Japan or getting close?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, it is, because we were talking about last week with the voice actor from America who did the localization. That game was already a release, and he just did the localization, and he spilled the beans on this one.
I got you.
There you go.
All right, cool. Well, that's good news. And I think it's back to Caillou.
It is. So, moving on here. SteamWorld Dig announced for PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4. So get ready to get dirty because SteamWorld Dig is making its way from Nintendo 3DS and PC onto PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4 in later this March. The game will launch with cross-buy for the price of €8.99 in Europe and $9.99 in North America with support for multiple languages. The questionably named subterranean platformer follows the adventures of the gruff mining steambot Rusty as he makes his presence known in a mining town that is in much need of help. SteamWorld Dig is what we call a mining platform adventure, said developer Image Informed CEO Brandsigergeist. I'm sorry if I've said your name wrong, but that one kind of stumps me.
That was pretty good.
On the official PlayStation blog. The objective is mining. The controls are those of a platformer, and it's a story-driven game with a defined beginning and end. In SteamWorld Dig, you must make your money by mining for precious stones and return to the town to hawk your wares in exchange for improved equipment. The deeper you dig, the more difficult the enemies and environment become, making each excursion more troublesome than the last. By the description of the game alone, it may sound familiar to that of other popular crafting adventure games on the market, but that is a comparison Sigurd Gierson doesn't necessarily agree with. It's SteamWorld Dig been compared to Minecraft and Terraria, but those are sandbox games and not that similar to SteamWorld Dig, which is more of a Metroidvania type of game. So keep an eye on TBL for more information about Image Inform and SteamWorld Dig in the near future. What do you guys think about that one? Other than my pronunciation of the name.
What was his name again?
Yeah. Make me say it again. I don't think so.
Well, I need to say his name so I know who I'm talking about. Kyle. Don't be rude.
Okay. Here, I'll say it, then you can say it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Braun Sigurgeirsson.
Braun Sigurgeirsson. Boom. What up? Alright, well, yeah. I looked at the screenshots and it seems like it could be something interesting, but not something I'm going to be buying day one. I'll wait till see what the Vita Lounge thinks about it, whoever takes that review.
But it's got digging, Tyler. You love it.
I do like digging, but this seems like just
Not the right kind of digging.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'll like I said, I'll keep an eye on it. It's on my radar. It's just not a high level threat right now.
I think I got you. All right, moving on to the next one then.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, Conception 2 gets a Valentine news update. Valentine's Day is the day of love, and if there's one game for Vita that centers around love, it's Conception 2. Since it's such a perfect fit, Atlas has released some information to go with this beautiful day. Obviously, this was posted on the 14th. There are two things you have to take care of while playing Conception. Number one, making sure you have a strong bond with the heroine of your choice before making star children.
Use protection.
Yeah, use protection. And number two, supporting your star children with proper classes to ensure they don't get wiped out in the labyrinth. So teach them well and don't, send a whole bunch of derps out there to get killed.
Yeah, you don't want children dying.
Well, obviously not. That doesn't sound cool at all. I think all parents would agree with you, by the way. But
most. Maybe not Tyler's parents, but we'll move on anyway.
Just push him out in front of the bus, dear. He won't mind.
Messed up, Brian.
Messed up, but true stories from the Vita Lounge.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, back to Conception 2. They detail a bit about some of the classes available. So some of the classes available are Cleric. A Cleric should definitely be a staple of your party. They're healers, and once they're strong enough, can even revive fallen star children. So if you do happen to get your kids killed, you can always use one of these guys to bring them back. Then we have the Magic Knight. The Magic Knight is one of the favorite in the offices of Atlas. This is due to their well-roundedness. They have the brawn to be lethal attackers, skills that can exploit enemies' magical weaknesses, and enough defense to be hardy in battle. So apparently they're the all-around guys. We got the Thief. In addition to having the most baller hats in the game, which I can attest to from the screenshots here. They're a strong party addition. Not only do they have a skill that attacks and robs an enemy of an item at the same time, but they can also help out in non-combat ways by picking locked treasure chests. So if you're Klepto, this is the guy to pick when you're playing. Then we have Minstrel. This is the kind of class that is usually underappreciated in RPGs, but the Minstrel is a good option for balancing magic that gives your party better stats while helping lock down enemies and crippling debuffs. So this is the one probably Yuki would use in his attack pattern because he's got the strategies. Then we have Sordis, one of the first classes you have access to in the game, and they're the early game workhorses in the Labyrinth. They're well-balanced physical attackers and defenders, but make sure they're paired up with someone who can dish out magical damage in order to create an effective team. So apparently they have no magic there. Not, cool like us. And last but not least, Warlock. So Warlocks are absolute nukers against monsters with high physical defenses. They're a strong magic option to bring to the team of children, but will be dependent on having good counterbalance and physical attack and healing. Conception 2 Children of the Seven Stars is set for release April 15th in North America with a Q2 Q2 release for Europe. So what are you guys thinking about that game?
I really want to make babies.
Tyler is down for this game. He's right there. I bet he's got the pre-order on already.
I already do.
There you go.
It's already fully paid off.
There you go. Just waiting for that one. What about you, Brian?
So I've actually been playing it. So I can't testify to the story because I don't understand Japanese. But it's actually pretty good. I've been enjoying myself. It's a little bit different than Persona, but the dungeon crawling is quite similar. And you guys would be surprised to know that the more sexual elements, quote unquote, are actually pretty low key. What we're talking about as far as sexual elements is a girl will disrobe. You won't see it. If you've ever seen Sailor Moon, she'll be highlighted in neon, so you'll see her figure, and then she gently holds the hand of the protagonist, and that's how you make babies. And then it cuts away, and then you have 2 little babies or more. So that works fine.
Like a million kids if holding hands is how you make babies.
Fact.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, go ask your parents about it, kids. But yeah, the dungeon crawling is interesting. You're working on 4 quadrants, so you have a north, south, east, west attack position, and each round works in turn. So you can choose to go behind an enemy, attack him from behind, and he'll be facing that way for his next turn. So it's all a whole bunch of strategy and so forth. But I enjoyed it. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it, and I think if you like Persona, you'll really dig it.
Yay!
You guys like Persona?
We do.
Then you'll dig it.
I already have it fully pre-ordered. I wasn't kidding.
The only weird thing to me is there's a visual novel element, not dislike Persona, but there's such boob jigglage for no reason. Characters will just be talking. Characters are just little cartoon
Kyle just woke up.
It's a weird choice, but all right.
You liked it, don't lie.
Yeah, it turned me on. The little cartoon movies.
Boob jigglage 2, eh? I mean, Conception 2, eh?
Looks like we know what Kyle's going to go pre-order after the show.
Oh, man. Anyway, moving on. So, Soul Sacrifice Delta trailers and launch details. So, there's a whole whack of new information about Soul Sacrifice Delta here. We'll go through it here as quickly as possible. Delta features the following updates: new magic abilities, a new sorcerer and supreme ruler of Avalon, Pendragon, a new map, new quests, improved graphics, and new demons based on Grimm's fairy tales. You'll also have the ability to transfer over save data from Soul Sacrifice to Soul Sacrifice Delta, though I'm not sure 100% what transfers over. Speaking of the demons, there's trailers of some of them here. There's the 3 little pigs, Little Red Riding Hood, and the Tortoise and the Hare, so check out the site if you want to have a look at that. And there's also a limited edition of the game, Soul Sacrifice, The Art of Magic. This version is set to include an illustration book by main series artist Hirohiko Inu, Takumi Miyake, and a new story written by director Teruhiro Shimokawa. Product code for the Soul Sacrifice original anime by Kamikaze Doga, and a product code to download the 10-song soundtrack and sold guest art. So the game will ship in Japan on March 6th. The retail version is set to cost 4,980 yen, which is about $50 US, and the digital version set at 3,714 yen, which is about $37 US. So what are you guys thinking about the additions and the additions to Soul Sacrifice?
Sounds very interesting. I'm still a little wary on it, but I'd like Soul Sacrifice, the original, so I'm definitely keeping my eye on it. And pretty much anything that you say is good, I pretty much go for, and I like it. So, but we were talking, just you and I, about that anime. So there actually is an anime.
What do you mean there actually is an anime?
You said there's a product code for the Soul Sacrifice original anime by Kamikaze Doga or whatever.
Yeah.
So there is one.
Yeah, but there's not like one out right now. I don't believe.
Oh, okay.
So it's probably coming with this edition.
I gotcha. I read you.
But yeah, I've not seen one, and I'm not sure how well that would go. Although the drawing would probably be pretty awesome.
Well, you haven't watched the trailer yet, have you?
I have not.
You should watch it. I'm telling you. It gives me that Titan... Wow, I can't think of it.
Attack on Titan?
Attack on Titan feel. Like, the second I watched it, I was like, yep, that's what it makes me think of.
For stuff like this that I'm not sure of, I prefer not to watch the trailer and just wait till some gameplay comes out, because I don't want to get overhyped and then just be like, aw.
Well, this is like an anime trailer. It's not...
Yeah, I know, but like the same difference. Like, instead of waiting for the gameplay, I want to wait for like the first episode or
so you can keep watching
we
and
get.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't like getting hyped from the trailer and then just being like, "Oh, what the hell?" when it comes out, right?
I like to be hyped.
No,
the hype train.
I got too much to do. Worrying about stuff to come is gonna kill me.
I gotcha. All right. What about you, Brian? Are you interested in these deltas?
I played Soul Sacrifice Delta. It may be due to the fact I didn't understand a word of the menus, but it wasn't something I was necessarily digging. I'm not a huge fan of the hunting type of games like you guys are, and it didn't really strike me. But again, this is playing it in other languages. But I'll try it. I'll try it when it comes out.
What do you mean by you guys?
Hey, you guys. You and Kyle.
Oh, okay.
The other two little piggies on this podcast.
Who's the big bad wolf?
Yuki, obviously.
Well, okay. Makes sense.
He's always blowing around.
Alright. Is that all you got, Kyle? Is it going back to Brian?
Yeah, we're going to go on from Soul Sacrifice to something a little more cheery. Project Diva F. That's a lower... Yeah, F. Price for North America. Vocaloid game Hatsune Miku Project Diva F gets priced for its North American PlayStation Vita debut. You'll be able to get your hands on a digital copy of Project Diva F March 4th in North America for the reasonable sum of $29.99. European pricing for the Vocaloid rhythm game is yet to be announced. However, fairly sure that they'll be similar in numbers in euros when it releases March 12th. Remember, this is digital only release in the West, and no English retail PlayStation Vita version will be available. Keep tuned to the Vita Lounge for more as it comes available, or read his review of the Japanese import if you're on the fence. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm not into
that. Is that music to your ears?
Not really, because I'm not into Vocaloid games, but yeah.
I don't know. It's a little steep in price for me to jump into something kind of blind like that. I might jump onto the Japanese store and play some demo again, just to see if, it's something that I'd drop down that $30 on. If it was $20, I think I'd jump on it, but I think at $30, I'm gonna have to think about it some more.
It's not striking the right note with you yet?
No, it's not playing the tune that I like.
I gotcha.
So I'm kind of doing a misstep here. I normally wouldn't be the type to like these kind of games. I just wouldn't. It wouldn't be in my nature. And on top of that, the $29.99 selling point is a little pricey for me. But for some reason, I don't know why, I've gotten hit by the Hatsune Miku bug. I've become not obsessed. I'm not a AR card, have her in my room, take pictures, and obsess over
That
her.
we know
obsessed.
of.
Not that I'm willing to
Sharing with
admit.
us.
But I have the urge to play this game. I have no idea why. Just it seems a little bit different than like we were just talking about Soul Sacrifice Delta, and like there's so many games where I'm just killing people. It's nice to have a little bit of a change of pace. So yeah, I'm really have this on my radar, and I'm hoping it's good. And I'm really happy for the people who are begging for an import for and begging for a translation, and they actually got it. So I'm happy for them anyway.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, I know. I'm all Hatsune Miku inside. My heart is singing all sorts of songs. So we're going to move on to something a little bit different. We're going to move on to the fact that Futuridium EP Deluxe is blasting onto PlayStation Vita. Developers Mixed Bag are bringing their mind-bending shooter, Futuridium EP Deluxe, to PlayStation Vita. According to a post by co-founder Mauro Fanelli on the official PlayStation blog, EP Deluxe is an all-new, enhanced, expanded, turbocharged version of the Italian studio's debut title, Futuridium, which saw releases on PC, Mac, and iOS by the end of summer 2013. Beginning initially as a pet project for the studio, the game started as a total reinvention of the Commodore 64 top-down classic Uridium, with the goal of infusing the title's already frantic pacing with a gender scope through the introduction of fully 3D gameplay. But it wasn't long until the small aside took a leap from prototype into a fully featured title, eventually becoming a perfect match for PS Vita. He goes on to make this quote that in Futuridium, you are a lone starship pilot who gets lost in a dimensional loop just before a big space battle. He explained, with a limited and constantly depleting energy bar, your only hope is to fly as fast as possible over enormous space dreadnoughts and destroy their power cubes to replenish your energy tank and reveal the dreadnought's power core, which must be destroyed to move on to the next ship. Where shoot-'em-ups often fail is that often many of them feel quite similar. However, this one makes some unique design choices, such as in Futuridium, the game is completely devoid of power-ups of any kind, asking more of players' instincts than their abilities to game the system. So he goes on to say that you have no power-ups and limited control of your speed. You can only count on your reflexes and your dual lasers. The nimbleness of your ship and the ability to turn 180 degrees on the spot, an essential technique when navigating the Dreadnought's intricate passages. Unlike more novel choices in terms of gameplay, the overall structure of Futuridium is a tad more familiar to fans of the genre, in that it largely is score-based. It rewards skilled pilots for taking risks, as well as offering players the ability to earn multipliers by destroying and chaining cubes together. So he goes on to list a bunch of new changes brought by the Deluxe EP edition. Deletion. So he says that there will be new gameplay modes, new levels, new game mechanics, a graphical overhaul, more music, more speed, more enemies, more everything, more trophies, and a new way to crash and explode into 1 trillion colorful cubes. And he says, did we mention the game is super difficult? And as well, to a lot of those people who out there who love the technical side of things, the game will run at a silky smooth 60 frames per second. No release date has been announced for Futuridium EP Deluxe as of yet, but stay tuned to TVL for more information. And we have a trailer on the site, so go check it out. How are you guys feeling about this retro-style remake?
It looks colorful. It's pretty.
It reminds me a lot of Star Fox, the originals on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. It's definitely very interesting looking. I'll have to keep my eye on this one.
So, before I give my opinion, I just want to say that it seems that there's a trend. We've come from, games like Tetris and stuff back in the early 90s and late 80s up till now, kind of evolving the games in complexity, and now we've come back to simple games. So it seems like there's a lot of simple games that aren't necessarily simple as in they're easy, but simple as in put together simply. The rules are simple, that are about score and kind of seeing how far you can get, or amping up the hardness and seeing how long you can survive, stuff like that. Seems like there's a lot of games like that coming out recently, and I just like to note that trend. As far as my opinion on the game, I'm not big on shooters, so I'll probably pass. Although I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you can probably chalk a lot of that trend up to the fact that you can talk about it a lot with the PlayStation Vita. The price points have changed. For a long time in the industry, moving on from the arcade era, there was basically the full price point, and maybe you had single A type of games or double A, but you'd still be paying quite a bit. But with the advent of digital releases, you have a bunch of new price points you can set your game at, and you're no longer having to charge $60, $40, maybe $70 for a game. So I think that developers are given more freedom, and they can create these more I want to say intimate experiences or more lo-fi experiences that are more akin to the arcade-style games with the score base and so forth, as you mentioned. So I think that's why we're seeing it, especially on the Vita, because I think I believe I'm correct in saying this, that out of all of the PlayStation Vita sales, I think 48% are digital. So I think it definitely allows the developers a little bit more freedom to release a game like this. Whereas if it was released on home console and a disc for a full price, I think this would be dead in the water. But as for whether I'll be playing it personally, I love Star Fox. I grew up on this kind of stuff. I haven't played the game that is based on Uridium. However, this looks to be quite different despite being based much on that game. I'll definitely have this on my radar moving forward. How about you, Tyler?
Well, it looks pretty. I played Star Fox back in the day, like twice, so I barely remember it. But it's definitely, like you said, it's on your radar. It's on my radar too. So I'll look for more information when it gets brought to us.
All right. So we're going to go on to something I know everybody here is interested on. New Killzone Mercenary maps coming February 19th. Wait, is that today?
It is today.
It is.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow, what a coincidence.
It's Christmas in February, you guys.
Wow. So Gorilla Cambridge came out of their zoo and revealed that the latest update for Killzone Mercenary will be coming February 19th, aka today, or whenever you're listening to this.
Sorry, I gotta interrupt you. That was a really funny pun. I'm gonna be laughing about that later today. I'm just really tired. Go on.
So yeah, they announced that the much anticipated patch would be on its way, and it arrived. So according to the developer on a post on the official Killzone forum, the 167 megabyte update, or 526 megabytes if you haven't installed previous patches, will be available for download this Wednesday, today, at 12 p.m. GMT. Already done, and will contain the maps Tharsis Depot and Blood Gratch. I'm gonna defer to Kyle here. Is that how you pronounce that?
To be honest, I'm not even looking at the page. 1 second here.
Blood Gratch. It looks like that's what it would be like.
Or Grotched. We have a German here, and we have a Killzone expert. So
I think it's Blood Grot. I think that it's Grot. I don't think they pronounce with ACH.
Okay, so there's a lot of blood in that game. So if these sound familiar to you, it might be due to the fact that these are modern revisions of two classic maps from Killzone 2. Here's how they're described on the forum. So Tharsis Depot. After incurring damage during the ISA invasion of Helgen, this subterranean mining platform has been converted to process nuclear petrusite.
Petrusite.
Awesome. Now it's back to full-scale production. The ISA will again battle the Helgas and mercenary forces between the structures of Tharsis Depot. This time they intend to finish the job they started. Under the Cavern's artificial light is a great map to play guerrilla warfare or Warzone on, a mercenary version of the Killzone 2 classic. As for Blood Grach, months after the nuclear blast that almost ruined that did ruin most of the city, Pyrrhus is slowly recovering. But now with ISA, Helgas, and mercenary troops clashing in the suburb buildings and winding down alleyways, the canals have once again run red with blood. This fan-favorite multiplayer map from Killzone 2 is ideal for all game models. So previously, Guerrilla had stated that they were in the final stages of developing this patch. However, they also mentioned that a bot zone would be revealed later on at a later date, but they weren't specific. So you can go download those maps right now. As we mentioned, we've been playing a little bit of them, or the guys here have tried to play them. So you can try yourself later today.
Finally, more maps.
They're good. They're so good. I enjoy them.
If we get them in the lounge play this week, that would be pretty sick.
I think we should just quit if we don't and be like, we're getting those maps.
All right, let's do it.
So my favorite part about those maps, especially Blood and Grok, is that they're so big, and they actually have a lot of spots for snipers, which is unusual. I know people tend to snipe quite a bit, but there's not many perches in Killzone Mercenaries maps for sniping, and it's a pretty good map. I like both of them actually quite a bit. They're pretty expansive and quite different than what is available right now.
Yeah.
So,
did you mention earlier in the new releases that they added the light machine gun as DLC?
No, he didn't, but
that was the order DLC, I think.
Yeah, they added it, so you can buy it now.
In both regions, you can buy it now. I think it's $149 in both euros and dollars, and then I think it's cheaper in pounds. But I'm not 100% on that for the price.
Yeah, so if you want another gun and you didn't pre-order the game, there you go.
I'll be getting it next time I have change in my account.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I've used it once. It's all right.
All right, Tyler, let's close up the show. You can take out the last two.
Oh, I'll do that for you, just because you asked so nicely.
Aww.
All right, Soul Sacrifice Delta DLC already in the works. That's quick. Sony Computer Entertainment are reportedly working on downloadable content for Soul Sacrifice Delta ahead of its March release in Japan. A new dungeon titled Alice's Infinite Demon Palace is currently in development according to Dengeki PlayStation, and it features some unique alterations to the game's design. When monsters are defeated in the DLC dungeon, another will appear and take its place, adding to the overall challenge of the level itself. No information has been provided regarding the dungeon's release. Soul Sacrifice Delta is scheduled for March 6th release in Japan exclusively for the PlayStation Vita. Interesting. They love their DLC. Hopefully it's free.
Yeah, I hope they support it as well as the first one, because having all that DLC to go back to was pretty awesome.
You know what's funny?
What?
I haven't played any of the DLC for Soul Sacrifice.
I've played some of it. I haven't completed it all. But it's something that when I feel like, I want to play Soul Sacrifice, I can go back and play, because, after getting the platinum, you're like sitting there and you're like, what the hell? I've played all these levels. So
yeah.
It's nice to have a reason to go back.
I gotcha. Well, it's good that they're at least going to support this one as well. So, next up for the news, our last bit of news this week, Curve Studios announces a two-title bundle, Titan Invasion. The latest addition to the publisher's hefty console catalog will be the two-title collection, Titan Invasion, which will be released in summer 2014 on PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4. Developed by UK-based studio Puppy Games, Titan Invasion combines both Titan Attacks and Revenge of the Titans into a solitary cross-buy package. While the game may share a title and ultimately the limelight, each play quite differently despite their similarities. Titan Attacks is described as a throwback to classic arcade shooters of the past with some decidedly modern twists. That was decidingly, wasn't it? Why did I say decidedly?
Yeah, it's cool.
That's all right. I say weird things. Leave me alone. Decidingly modern twist, being innovative but still managing to evoke the spirit of such timeless classics as Space Invaders and Galaga. The game will feature over 100 levels, 5 unique worlds, neo-retro visuals, as well as a full upgrade system and leaderboards. According to Curve, the game will also be running at 60 frames per second across all PlayStation platforms, which lends to the fluidity of this neo-retro experience. The second game in the package, Revenge of the Titans, features the return of the aforementioned Titans in a completely different arena. I need to slow down. Build is blend between real-time strategy and tower defense. The game expands on the frantic action of the original while playing with exploring new possibilities in terms of design. I quote, the perfect accompaniment to Titan Attack, Revenge greatly expands on the original game, allowing players to build a network of turrets, rocket launchers, laser cannons, barricades, shield generators, refineries, reactors, and over 20 other buildings to defend against a huge-scale assault across 50 levels. No exact release date has been set for Titan Invasion. However, it has been revealed that the game will be available and playable on all 3 PlayStation platforms at launch. Very, very interesting. What do you guys think?
So we were talking about those arcade games coming back. This would be one of those cases. I'm not necessarily as interested in Revenge of the Titans, but I grew up playing Galaga quite a bit. That's a game that's pretty predominant in my family. One member of my family, my uncle, actually has a Galaga machine, an actual arcade cabinet. So I enjoy it. I haven't played these games. I know they're available on PC currently, but no, they look interesting. And Curves usually does pretty good stuff. So, nice. How about you, Kyle? Are you into these arcade experiences?
Not so much. Certain things grab me, these just don't. Not my bag. I don't think so.
Alright. Well, that was our news for this week. Now we've got some listener mail with Kyle.
All right, well, we've got a couple questions today, all in via Twitter and not all PlayStation Vita related, apparently. So first one is PlayStation Vita related. Vita News Plus, at Vita News Plus on Twitter, asks, any 2014 big Vita game announcements expected? And as far as expected, I'm going to say no. I don't really expect anything. I'm just happy when things show up. What about you guys?
Expected. I'm expecting something from those guys from that company that makes games.
Don't give away too much.
Be vague, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm trying to be very vague here. No, what's that company? The guys that are behind Uncharted Golden Abyss. Bend, yes. I'm expecting them to have something at E3, hopefully.
For Vita.
Yes, for Vita. And I'm hoping it's exclusive, because as much as I love all these PS3, PS4, Vita cross-buy wonderful stuff, the Vita needs its own games to be successful. So I'm hoping for some big, hey, this is where you have to get this game, or else you will never play it anywhere else. Boom. Sold. Brian, take it away.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Kyle. It's hard to have expectations with the Vita since things are so cloudy with the future, and I'm with Kyle on the fact that as well that I'm just happy to get anything of substance anyway. So I don't really expect anything. As far as what I would think or might forecast, I think that you've seen a recent trend in a bunch of collections, but we might see more of that. That's the only thing I get to say.
If anybody is listening and wants ideas on collections to release, the Killzone collection might be a good idea. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Ooh. That wouldn't be too bad at all there, Kyle.
Yeah.
I heard those gorillas are pretty good at making them games.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
Well, thank you there, Vita News Plus, for sending your question in.
All right, we'll move on to the next one here. So I'm going to assume this says Extema, because that's what his actual name thing here shows up as, at XTEMMA. So he wonders, are there any cat owners among any of us at home?
This is where I insert the intro that we had earlier of my cat meowing. Yeah. I mean, technically, they're not mine. They're my roommates. There's 3 of them, and I hate them all. I love cats, but these ones are just crazy. They're cats that want to be outside and roam like they're lion brothers.
Profound.
I like to go deep.
Apparently. So chipping in, I also have cats. I have 2 cats. A older, big, fat ass cat. That's a male, and he's orange, and he kind of looks like Garfield. crossed with Winnie the Pooh sometimes because he sits like Winnie the Pooh would if he was like holding on to honey. And I have a female cat that's like a year old, and it's just like the tiniest cat ever. It sits on my shoulder and like kind of like hitches rides around the house and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty funny. So yeah, those are the cats I got.
And then there's anti-cat Brian.
Whoa. Don't go on a... You're going to make me cry now because I got some sad news. So it'll make you feel all guilty. My cat died last year. My 16-year-old cat that I've had forever. I used to own the mother, who also passed away, so that's double sadness. And I've had her since she was a little kitten. So yeah, no, I used to be a cat owner. I don't currently own anything, but yes, I love cats. Yeah, I'm going to go cry now.
Oh, need to make you feel better. I can get you a little bowl of milk and you can look it up.
I think I'm going to go play some Hollow Knights 3 and rub my feelings away.
There you go. That's my Brian.
Oh, Lord.
This got awesome.
So thanks for the painful memories, X-Demo.
Please feel free to...
man.
They need to email us more of these lovely questions.
Yeah, they don't have to be Vita related. They can be random, which is awesome.
Yeah, you can ask us stuff. You can ask us what we think about random stuff. We don't care. We'll answer most of it as long as it's interesting.
It's like Truth or Dare, but no daring. You can't actually see what we're doing.
If you could, you'd be horrified because Brian isn't wearing pants again.
You don't want to hear how my cat died then.
Oh. That got awkward.
Oh, Lord.
All right, moving along quick, Kyle.
Moving along. Liam Langan at Liam Hangover on Twitter asks, do you think that Crash Bandicoot will make it to PS Vita?
Let me get into this real deep, no.
That was mega deep, Tyler.
No, on a serious note, I really don't think they will unless Activision is like, you know what? Why don't we give this property away to Sony and let them do whatever they want? And I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, unfortunately, I don't see it happening. Yuki says bring back Spyro, which I love Spyro, but I also love Crash, so why don't they just make Crash... No, never mind, I'm not even going to say it. That's a stupid idea.
What? You want... No, stupid ideas are what this podcast is all about.
I was going to say, why don't they just make a cross between Crash and Spyro? And I was like, wait a minute, that's dumb.
Why don't they just make Crash a character in the Skylanders?
Ooh.
Activision likes that money.
They do.
As we all do. So yeah, I'm going to agree with Tyler on this one. I don't foresee Crash making a huge splash on PlayStation Vita. You might see a return of some previous titles, possibly, on the platform, but I don't see anything new in the future, unfortunately, in my crystal ball on my desk. How about you, Kyle?
So I don't want to really give a hard answer one way or the other because I think that it's possible that it could happen, though I don't think it's likely. Will Crash come to Vita? I would say almost certain that we'll see by the end of the Vita's life, the PlayStation 1 Classic probably get licensed. But as for new games, I really think that we should have somebody buy the Crash name, I guess, trademark, whatever, and do something with it. But I also at the same time think that Activision or whoever actually owns it, because they've been debating and there's been rumors and whatever the hell for however long, needs to either do something with it or get rid of it, because sitting on it is not doing anyone any good, and the fact that so many people want it is just a testament to how they're wasting the IP. So yeah, they should. If they listen to their customers, they will. If they don't, then I guess we're all screwed.
Yeah. The big thing, though, is that I think Crash is such a iconic character that if they ever did make him come back to the PlayStation platform, I feel like they would kind of forget about the Vita and be like, it's PS4, everyone goes crazy. And then we would be like, what about the Vita? And they'd be like, the what? So...
Yeah, I tend to agree because Activision, you can go through their history. They don't tend to release a bunch of exclusive, and I don't think they would be releasing a Crash game on PlayStation platforms exclusively either, because I think that might send mixed messaging as far as marketing. But like Kyle said, there's a whole bunch of possibilities, and it's possible that it could happen. We've seen those teasers, we've seen the rumors, but who knows?
Yeah, there's been a lot of teasers, which, especially in like actual Sony videos and stuff, it just kind of seems funny. It's one of those subjects that I think we're going to be talking about until it either happens or everybody who knows about Crash dies.
All right. Well, thank you, Liam, for that question. We got any more, Kyle?
And yes, we have one more. So, Mohit Bhatia, so at iMafia97 on Twitter, asks, what do you think about the game collections being launched for Vita? And he notes that he thinks that they're great. So what do you guys think?
I think they're better than great. I think they're awesome. That's about it. No.
Good night, everybody.
No, I really like them because it's a chance for people to get those wonderful games on the go. And on the go is just wonderful. Yep.
That's true.
I'll jump in there. I think they're good when they're done right. So I'm not really sure because I haven't actually played many of these collections myself, and I've only read about most of them, having either skipped them or just not being my bag. So I just kind of, passed it by. But there seems to be some with frame rate and other issues in them, and I think that even though there's a lot of people that would buy that sort of thing just because they're hardcore fans, or they can take the 6 or 10 or 12 frames or whatever that end up getting dropped in heavy scenes, they have to be done right to make an impact. So what do I think about them? If you're going to do it right, sure. If you're not, stay at home.
I'm going to elaborate on what Kyle said. Yeah, I agree with him. They have to be done correctly, and I think that Sony are starting to recognize that. I think maybe that they looked at previous collections and realized that maybe they weren't up to snuff, and that's why we're seeing developers who are familiar with the Vita's architecture developing these new collections, such as Sanzaro Games, who obviously worked on the previous Sly iteration on the Vita. So I think if they continue to pull in developers who are familiar with the platform, maybe we'll see better results. And as far as how I feel about the collections themselves moving forward, I think it's absolutely fantastic. There are many people who are just maybe a little bit too young, or maybe they just passed by these titles and they want to re-experience them. However, we all get that feeling when you have a brand new machine like the PS4, even the PS3. You don't necessarily want to play these old games, despite their HD remastering or remaking on your home entertainment system. It just doesn't feel correct. But I think that these experiences translate perfectly to a mobile platform, especially the PlayStation Vita, which replicates the gameplay perfectly. So if they're done well, like Kyle said, I'm all for them, and I'm hoping that we see many of other PlayStation platform games released and collected into future editions.
Right. Well, that was wonderful. All right, Kyle, so is that all we got for this week?
That is, for questions, yes.
Awesome. Well, now you need to talk about your game of the week.
All right, so my game of the week this week is Ys Memories of Celceta. So if you Europeans don't know, it's supposed to be coming out this week, I believe, in Europe, the 21st. So that should be, Friday? So yeah, Friday. You'll be getting it. But us North Americans have had it since the end of November. It's an awesome action RPG, and pretty much when I picked it up, I was going into it thinking, oh no, it's going to be another one of those games that I'm like, get, 10 minutes or 15 minutes into and put down. But I was hooked through the whole thing. I played, I think, 50-something hours, got through the main story, collected as much as I could, did as much as I could with the trophies on my first playthrough, and I've been itching to go back for another. So if you're looking for a great action RPG, like going out and, slaying the monsters and collecting the chests and, freeing the kingdom, this is the kind of game for you. So go out there and buy Ys Memories of Celceta and do yourself a favor.
That's a great game, Kyle. I love it. I still need to play more because I've been playing way too many games. Danganronpa has me really busy, and Tokuden obviously just came out, so the Ys Memories of Celceta is not getting played again, which is upsetting. So I want to get back on that. Got to figure out the memories.
Yeah, I got to get back and play through a second time, get that platinum maybe. It's within reach. I know I can. It's just the hours.
Yeah, you're just platinum hungry, aren't you?
I kind of am. I like to platinum it, and then I don't feel like I have to go back and play it. I can just play it when I'm like bored or whatever.
Yeah. Brian,
Yes.
have you played the Ys?
I have played the Ys, but not Memories of Celceta. Unfortunately, I have a huge backlog, and I haven't been able to get around to it. And the backlog just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And
I just got rid of my backlog a second ago, if you know what I mean.
But a bum.
Do you record this podcast on the toilet?
No, shut up.
Because I know we don't stop the podcast and then edit your poops out. That way,
Never.
I'll just send you a picture of what my little office area looks like. You'll just see a
Excellent.
toilet, a computer screen, and me.
and a bunch of cats, apparently.
Yep. Anywho, yes, go grab that game. It's awesome. It's a good recommendation. We guarantee it. You're going to like the way you look.
And Tyler's been watching too much TV.
All right, let's get out of here before I say anything else weird. All right, so let's get out of here. Look us up on Twitter. I'm at Mr. PS Vita Reviews. Kyle is at Teflon Tactics. Brian is at Brian G. Sharon. Yuki is at Yuki_WR. Charlie is at something. I don't know what his is at. You guys know what it is at? I need to check it right now because now I feel bad. Hold on a second.
I think it's the same as his username at Chaz3010, I believe.
All right, we'll just assume that's it. If he types it in being mad at us, then we'll know. So go give him a follow. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search the Vita Lounge. Don't forget to check up on our YouTube channel where we do the lounge plays, and I upload the podcast too, if that's your method of listening to us. This week we have Killzone Mercenary. We got to play them new maps. And are we doing Tokuden again?
We are.
Yeah.
And we might play something else too, but we haven't decided.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm really hoping we get that, whatchamacallit? The new maps on Killzone, because we need to play those.
Yeah.
So,
and Charlie messaged, it's at Charlie Large, so I was wrong.
Yeah, so follow him on Twitter at Charlie Large. And it's spelled just how it sounds. I think that's all we've got. Oh.
It is.
Forum. Go sign up. Join the conversation.
Yeah, that's you. We're asking about your best game of year 2 of the Vita. So if you listen to this podcast and it's not the 21st yet, go sign up to the forum and vote.
Yes, get on that. We want to know what your guys' favorite game is. Yeah. All right. Well, have a great week, and thank you for listening to this week's episode. See ya.
Later.